inside. You act as if it means to me a damn thing. If I said it did, I guess I lied. So just leave me alone and let me go, 'cause I'm not in the mood to stay. Honey, please shut your mouth, or I'm going out. We're the Vowel Movements. My name is Johnny Krigel. This is Elliot Moeller. We grew up
with a V
across the street from each other, pretty much from the second we were born. I have a lot of vivid memories of just sneaking over to his house, without telling my parents. We just, our parents, my mom knows, my dad knows, we're just coming here to jam. And his dad loves classic rock and stuff, so he bought them a drum set, and one day we just started to just jam on the drum set, and kind of from that moment on, we knew that music was what we wanted to do. My parents like music. My dad is born in Poland, so he, and he moved to Israel when he was really young. So he, provided me with a lot of different styles, different language music, and different kinds of instruments and things like that. My mom was born here in San Antonio, so I grew up listening to a lot of Tejano music and Motown kind of styles and stuff. So a lot of Selena in my house. But growing up, I always gravitated towards punk rock and just alternative rock, I guess, for that matter. And that's, I think, probably the number one thing that we bonded on growing up was music. This was before, obviously, cell phones and social media was, we're not, I was born in 93, so I'm not, I spent a lot of my time.
We remember flip phones.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
We sure do remember flip phones.
Flip phones, there you go.
Yeah, flip phones. So we did spend a lot of time outside growing up, riding bikes and doing that kind of kid stuff. And but it was always music that really kind of kept us going, He started playing the bass at a pretty early age. I started playing the guitar at an early age. My dad got a guitar for his birthday, and he decided he wanted to teach some of, the kids that were young enough, me and my two other sisters, how to play guitar.
2005, by the way.
Yeah, about 2005.
It was 2005 when he got a guitar and then I got a bass.
What was the music scene like in San Antonio during that time?
I don't know. We were
young at that time, so we didn't really get to go out or nothing, but we knew that San Antonio always had, a really strong liking for hard rock, metal, alternative rock, and things like that. So we kind of knew that, on one side, the city loved it, but on the other hand, there's a lot of other bands doing the same thing, a lot of competition, I suppose.
Right on.
But we always gravitated towards, the fast, alternative rock, punk rock and stuff, so...
Green Day and the like.
Yeah. But it was, I think, I would say at that point it was more, I would say metal and stuff, really. And I think it's kind of still the same, to where San Antonio kind of always, they really prefer, of all the, Facebook page is like posts and things like that, a lot of it is, metal shows and punk rock shows and things like that. So it's really cool. It was really exciting knowing that the city that it had that kind of it had that kind of audience that was wanting to listen to that kind of stuff. As I grew older, I kind of changed styles of music, but now I'm realizing I guess it's important to be multifaceted with music, and at the same time it's more fun. You get to meet certain people, different people, and you get to kind of expand out of your city and into the smaller towns, Helotes, New Braunfels, those kind of spots.
Right on. Do you think there's a sense of rebellion in folk music today as it was, in the 30s and 40s? And then I guess you could say punk evolved from folk music, right? And now it's kind of reverberating back to folk music, or more acoustic. I hear a lot of not protest songs, but just more of I guess rebellious kind of sounding songs in acoustic today.
Absolutely. I've definitely, you listen to a lot of the emerging country stars and folk stars of today. Nick Shoulders and Sierra Farrell and all these other people, you know, you see them like back in the day. You didn't see country stars like Hank Williams and Loretta Lynn pierced up, tatted up, you know, gauges and all that stuff. And now you're kind of seeing these people that, just like me, kind of grew up, just like us. You know, we grew up listening to punk rock and the Ramones and, you know, the Misfits and Green Day and all the, you know, a lot of these punk bands, you know. You see a lot of the folk artists and country artists today, and even bluegrass and stuff like that, who they have, I mean, they're open about it, you know, they've spent a lot of time, you know, growing up listening to punk rock and playing that stuff, you know, and I think that's a big reason why I had such a pull towards it now as opposed to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because I never really honestly thought that I'd be a huge country fan growing up. I did really like it, but I think it was because I didn't see this kind of side of it, you know, whether it was the 1940 side of country or the country that is playing right now, which is, like you said, it has that rebellion, it has that, like, anarchy side to it, and
I
loved it.
I feel like it's fair to point out, though, even though they weren't tatted up, you know, back in the day, you know, piercings and all this shit, you know, like, let's say 100 years ago, Robert Johnson, that dude got into some shit, all right? He was not an angel of any kind.
No, for sure.
Johnny Cash, you know how many times he was arrested? I mean, even something like Willie Nelson, which is like some of the more like lighthearted side of it almost. But I mean, he's famous for growing weed before it was, you know.
I think that's and I think
legal.
that
so. There's always like a problem with authority when it comes to country. Hillbillies don't like the government, all right? I tell you, like NASCAR, motherfucker, NASCAR, all right? Same.
I think that style's coming back to where it is those people
prevalent.
that are kind of rebelling against this ideology or you know, because for a while country, like in the 80s, I feel like maybe I wasn't born in the 80s. I wasn't alive, but I feel like.
But we got to witness it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Film and shit. We got to see it.
It wasn't about like that kind of stuff. It kind of took like it went softer, and it, you know, even nowadays it's a lot more poppier, you know. So
well, there still is that poppier stuff, but I feel like at least some of the stuff that I know that we've covered is it's covers of covers from, you know, a while ago, but the people playing them now are kind of bringing back what was the more, I guess, angsty version of country, even though it might not sound like, you know, Hound Dog is a sad song. Does it sound sad? Not at all. You know why? Because when it was written and because it's fucking Elvis. I mean, like, it wasn't written by Elvis, but he made it pretty famous. You know? And that's kind of the whole point. They mask that shit with, you know, happy-go-lucky, this and that, and then it's like you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, well, that's probably pretty fucked up, isn't it?
Right.
Like, whoops.
So what gives you guys, do you guys write together, or is it just you, John, that writes? You guys both write?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't write words. I just write music. That's what I do.
What gives you guys, like, inspiration for, like, songs that you've been writing lately and stuff?
The last few songs that I've written was definitely, you know, obviously, was definitely influenced by heartbreak, you know, as cliche as it might be. You know, as an artist, as a songwriter, you kind of take what's given to you and you kind of transform it into some sort of art in some way, you know. But mostly what inspires me, I mean, the emotions that I'm feeling that day, and again, it's, you know, there's no way to know what you're going to feel any given day, you know, you kind of just go with it, you kind of go with the flow. I have personally found that, you know, pain and things like that, again, as cliche as it might sound, is an amazing kind of backdrop for inspiration and stuff like that. It hurts a lot, but you're able to kind of take within you, you know, a lot of things that you need to take away. And then it's funny, you know,
therapy you don't pay for.
Absolutely, it's free. It's free
well,
therapy.
Good way to put it.
You could get paid for it.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
and it's cool, like coming up with the song when you're heartbroken, and then listening to it like 2 years later when you're in a much better state, and you kind of like, huh. You know, like, damn, I really was thinking that way. You know, like, that's crazy that I was at a spot that low, and it's kind of cool to be able to reflect on. But I would say I write about more sad stuff than happy stuff. I feel like that's something maybe I need to get better at.
You grow with it, right? Like,
absolutely, you know,
you're always growing.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm always looking forward to new opportunities to grow as a songwriter, guitarist, and, you know, whatever, musician as a whole. But I would say more sad stuff. I
Heck
guess,
yeah.
whether that sad stuff is like you said, Hound Dog, whether it's a sad
It
subject,
might not sound sad.
yeah, whether you can put it in like a fun way, but inspiration wise, I would say that I've always been able to like harness into like my, I guess, darker sides rather than the happier sides, which is interesting, I suppose. But I feel like a lot of musicians are like that. Some are really good at harnessing the good sides or the good parts of their life and highlighting it.
Just
and
reflections,
stuff like that.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some people will kind of reflect more on the darker side. I feel like it's realistically people kind of pay more attention to the darker side of things, So it's like maybe it'll resonate with people more.
Consciously or subconsciously, people identify with universal truths. So regardless of how it's portrayed, whether they pick it up consciously or not, I mean, the relatable factor is a universal truth that people have experienced in some way, whether it be direct or indirect in the same fashion. But it's still
it sticks with them.
It's a universal consciousness thing.
No doubt.
The ability to kind of understand without words, even though you might be using words, but the between the lines sort of deal. Being able to read between the lines.
For sure. Growing up in San Antonio, as a child, like I would have, habitually take trips up to Austin. I didn't realize like what it kind of stood for. I didn't realize at the time that like Austin kind of had this like kind of like it's its own little place in Texas in a way. I always knew more or less that it was like kind of the hub of Texas, and
Carthage. It's where the South starts.
There you go. Sure. There we go. We'll throw that in there. We'll plant that in there. But yeah, I mean, I knew that again. Austin had like this reputation, and as you kind of grow up and you get into music a lot more, you kind of realize like the role that it kind of has in a lot of music history. I got into Stevie Ray Vaughan, and Austin played a huge role in his life, and he would he lived there for a while, I'm pretty sure, and that's where he got a lot of his founding. And so Austin to me always has like that, growing up in San Antonio, there's nothing, we have the Spurs, like there's nothing like too like
juicy
that points
about
you
it,
out.
yeah.
San Antonio is like, oh, the Spurs, it's nothing like
you would think so. We are the 7th largest city in the country,
and Robert Johnson
always is surprising.
Robert Johnson did record his
Dallas and San Antonio.
Did record in Dallas and San, but still, growing up, it was always Austin. Kind of has that reputation. So it's cool to be up here and like recording here. People hear like, oh, Austin, like, oh, like, that's like the Nashville of Texas. Like, that's pretty cool. So.
Heck yeah.
It is.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think it used to be a little bit more counterculture than it is today. Now it's just counterculture for Texas. It used to be like counterculture for like the rest of the country, and now I think it's just counterculture for Texas. It's pretty much alongside the rest of the country as far as like attitude, but or at least a lot of the country. I mean,
that's cool.
Maybe not Alabama, but
so who do you think's gonna live longer, Paul McCartney or Neil Young?
I'm gonna say Paul McCartney.
You'll outlive Neil Young?
Because judging off that one conspiracy that he
Magic
died
Johnson?
Already, we'll just replace him, dude. He won't ever die, dude. He'll just always be around, dude. System to. So I think Paul McCartney.
I think Paul McCartney's probably more likely to get a like a replicant for himself.
That's what I just said.
Like clone his ass and just be like, yeah, he's
still alive.
900 years old, he's a vampire.
He didn't die in the 60s. He's still alive.
James, do you have any questions being a local San Antonian?
Las Palapas is pretty good.
Yeah.
The Norteño.
Fuego is better.
Oh yeah, his parents.
Just throwing that one out there.
Taco. Yeah.
Have y'all ever tried Fuego tortilla?
I want to now though.
Fuego.
That's your spot, yeah?
Fuego.
I'm coming through.
His parents own it.
Where in San Antonio is it?
There's one in San Marcos.
24 hours, dude. I love that place.
No shit.
Represent.
What's up, dude?
Yeah,
became my new best friend.
Antonio, one in San Marcos, one in Waco, and one in College Station.
Whoa, now
Right
we're
on,
doing
man.
a promo for-
Hey.
What are the best?
Yeah, what's some good food around San Antonio and up
What's your
35?
Best Mexican restaurants in San Antonio.
I would definitely not say Whataburger. I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, "Oh, just go to Whataburger."
It's a good Texas thing, not a San Antonio thing.
Yeah, what's some unique food down in San Antonio?
San Antonio.
Go to.
I like this spot called Ruthie's that's by my house.
Oh
they have
my
some pretty
God.
good. They have some pretty good tacos. It's
I
kind
met
of
the person who named Ruthie's. Fun fact.
sure it wasn't a very hard name to name something, but
Well, it's after their grandmother or some such
There you go.
nonsense.
but anyways, they have pretty good tacos. Kind of like a hit and miss sometimes, but
Heck yeah.
I remember
Nice
when I
homemade
went to
tortillas.
Churchill High School for the small time that I went there, I would always get the Charger Special, which was like a drink and 2 tacos or something like that. So I would say that place. I mean, that's like a pretty decent spot around. We live pretty close to each other, so around our neighborhood.
And then we got some stuff in like what is
Braunfels,
it? New Braunfels,
Kerrville, San Antonio, obviously.
Right on.
Nothing at the moment in Austin, but hell, I would love to play up in Austin. Like I said, we know the reputation that Austin has. It's like if you're playing in Austin, you better come. You better come.
Ready to
you
rock,
know,
yeah.
prepared.
come prepared, come practice, well rehearsed, and things like that. So like
I don't believe in rehearsal.
Kurt Cobain said, too much practice is like too much salt. But
yeah.
Well,
again, you gotta
can
have
definitely over practice.
Yeah.
but you could also
You-
under practice.
Too
Yeah.
much. I think you meant too much rehearsal can be like
For
too
sure,
much
for
salt.
sure. I think like personal practice you can't have too much of, but yeah, rehearsal.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can.
But I
just
know
get
what you're
too
saying.
much.
Do you guys have any Kurt Cobain jokes?
You tried that hot sauce we told him not to.
You only tried some hot sauce last night.
Oh, now I'm curious about this joke.
Ah,
that a
no,
joke
it's
now?
just it's
Blew his head off.
too
That
hardcore.
fucking hit the hot sauce.
Do you guys have any guilty
Gotcha.
pleasure songs they sing? Like that's always stuck in your head, or like is there a song that's always stuck in your head, or something you sing in the shower that you don't want anyone to know, but want to
I'd
release to the
say
entire
maybe
planet?
like some like really early Taylor Swift.
I was
Yeah.
about to say
Like
Taylor Swift.
really
shit.
early. Like her very first album is
Yep.
very country and bluegrassy. So
I was about
like
to say old school Taylor Swift.
I would say that's
but I'm not.
probably.
I'm not embarrassed about it. Like 100%. She puts on one of the best fucking concerts I've ever been to.
Boy, that's
Like,
some words.
straight up.
I've never been to a Taylor
She
Swift
is
concert.
she is a showman. Like
Yeah, she's a force of nature.
woman,
show person.
show person. That's
Boom.
There you go.
Sup.
That includes everybody. But yeah, I would say.
But yeah,
I
no,
mean,
she
sure.
puts on a good
So
show.
Taylor Swift for both of y'all.
Maybe some
again,
Selena.
Oh, hell
feel
yeah.
bad
You know,
about
Selena
it.
rocks,
just
man.
for the culture of it. You know, I don't understand it necessarily, but
Nah, she's a legend.
yeah, I grew up with it, so that's probably.
Died too young, man. All right, cool. So where can people find you too on social media? And do you have
we're
anything?
under, we do have a. We are called the Vowel Movements.
With a V.
We do have an Instagram page at the moment. We do some stuff on that, and we have our personal pages. I'm Johnny. Oh, you don't even have an Instagram, do you?
No, I let them do that because I don't trust the internet.
Anyway,
Do you
so-
feel happier without the internet and like
Fuck
social
yes.
media? Do you just
I
live
listen to
life
Star
every day?
Trek
Like,
and like X-Files, but I don't browse the internet as a general rule. Like once a year, I'll go down a YouTube hole just so that I can like say that I've done it and
Yeah.
kind of catch up on maybe some of the references people will throw at me. But I miss most of them because I do it for like 3 hours for like one day a year, and then it's like the rest of it's like.
I feel like a lot of younger guys and girls are kind of like branching off into their own reality aside from social media and stuff. Like I know some younger cats that are like,
Yeah.
I'm good.
People
I
are
don't
just
need. I
like
don't give a
forget it.
fuck.
Yeah,
I
people
just-
are tired with
like,
it.
it's
I
boring.
really couldn't care less about social media. He always like lectures me on how
Oh,
important
because
it is.
if you're in a
It
band,
is important. I just
you're playing
I
music.
don't do
To get
it.
out
It's
there,
not-
You
yeah.
have to be
It's
active
not
on
my
social
part.
media. That's just part
I
of it.
don't because you are. See, there's the solution. You just find people who fill in
We
the
could have
Yeah.
double
spots.
social media power.
We had a bass player a couple bands back that came in and we were talking and he does a solo project and we're like, so how do we find you? And he gave us a bus card with his YouTube written on it. He's like, I don't mess with Facebook
There you
or Instagram or anything.
Dang.
Just here's my YouTube stuff.
I mean,
so.
I do have some stuff on YouTube, and a lot of my stuff is on Instagram, Johnny Krigel. But we do have some music on Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music or whatever it's called.
If
working.
it's a music distribution service, like
You're on it?
any of it, it's on there,
Heck
and
yeah.
there will be more soon.
Yeah, and we're working on with 2 of the songs that we played tonight are going to be on there. So
The
I'm
full
really
album
excited
version.
about. Yeah, I'm really excited about having those released, and that's going to be again on all the major streaming services. So I'm really excited about that. So hopefully that will be up there. Definitely by November. It will
Alright.
be up there at some point.
Excellent.
What do you two do? What do y'all do during the day?
I work at a bingo hall, so I just I enable gambling addicts, and it's it's fun. Works on my people skills, I suppose. Come on, don't you want 5 more, maybe 10 more? Come on, use your electricity bill. Come on, things like that.
Awesome.
They're yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
He's
I do sound and lights for like events and recording and such.
Nice.
Like home install stuff as well.
That's what's up.
I have like 4 jobs.
Same.
He's
Well,
got
fuck,
the
but-
guy. I feel
Don't like to be bored, man. Yeah, gotta stay in motion, right? Well, thanks for coming by, guys. Y'all
thank
fucking
you so much
rock,
for having
and
us. This has been such a fun experience. So fun.
Good
Y'all
time.
have been
great time, right?
So hospitable.
Y'all rock.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I woke up this morning feeling so nervous for some reason. Like I had some really spicy food last night, so I don't know if like is my stomach hurting because I'm nervous, or is it hurting because like I physically
I've abused myself.
damaged it. So it's been kind of that battle I've had all day. But coming here, like once I realized just like how chill it was here, like it was a lot. It was really easy to kind of like
Take a breath and
okay,
hang out.
You know,
Yeah.
like
It's all that pipe tobacco.
Just
we
fuck-
did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put that in my house.
I love it. Well, much love, guys. Thanks for coming by, man.
Thank you.
man, y'all
Thank you.
rock.
Thank
Yeah,
you
y'all are
guys.
killing it.
Thank you.